Hello again. This is Weeby, and I'm starting part 2 of my video collection of VHS tapes. This first movie is a classic from the early 1950s with Marilyn Monroe, and it's called The 7-Year Itch. This next movie is also a classic from Paramount Pictures, 1950. Gloria Swanson, William Holden, Sunset Boulevard. This next movie, put out by Thorn EMI in 1977. It is starring Anne Margaret, Julie Christie, Glenda Jackson, and Alan Bates. And the title is The Return of the Soldier. This next movie comes out of MGM Studios, 1958, with Montgomery Clift, Robert Ryan, Myrna Loy, Maureen Stapleton in Lonely Hearts. This is a Samuel Golden Home Entertainment, 1978. Glenda Jackson, Mona Washburn, Stevie. This next movie, put out by Hollywood Pictures in, I believe it's in the 1990s, with William Baldwin, Sadie Frost, John Leguizamo, Erica Eleniak, titled A Pyromaniac's Love Story. Next is a biography by Carts Video Communication on the life of Montgomery Clift. Vestron Video Studios, 1984. Richard Burton, Tatum O'Neal in Circle of Two. Next is a 1960s Columbia Screen Gems with Sally Field and Don Porter in Gidget. Next is Walt Disney Studios classic movie 1961, Haley Mills, Brian Keith, Maureen O'Hara, Kathleen Nesbitt in The Parent Trap. Next, a British film, 1973, starring Liz Smith in Hard Labor. Next is a Christmas video, 1977, put out by Good Times Video, with Maureen Stapleton, Ed Asner, called The Gathering. MGM Studios, 1994, with Charles Grodin, Kieran Culkin, and Mary Steenburgen. The title, My Summer Story. Next is an HBO production, 1990, Paul Newman, Joanne Woodward, Mr. and Mrs. Bridge. Next is a British movie put out by Columbia Pictures. Put out, I believe, in the late 1980s. But it's called 84 Charing Cross, with Anne Bancroft and Anthony Hopkins. Next movie, put out by Sony Pictures, stars Aidan Quinn, James Caan, Stephen Ray, John Cusack. The title is This Is My Father. This next movie is a Rodgers and Hammerstein TV special, 1965, called Cinderella, with Leslie Ann Warren. Twentieth Century Fox movies. And and this is with Anne Bancroft, Gwyneth Paltrow, Ethan Hawke, and Robert De Niro. Great Expectations. This is a classic put out by Paramount Pictures, 1966, A Charlie Brown Christmas by Charles Schulz. Next is put out by Warner Brothers, Bugs Bunny cartoons, called The Golden Age of Looney Tunes. Hooray for Hollywood. Next is a very nice movie put out by Columbia Pictures, and it stars Gillian Anderson, Dan Aykroyd, Terry Kinney, Laura Linney, and Anthony LaPaglia, and Eric Stoltz. The title is The House of Mirth, from a novel by Edith Wharton. This next movie is a comedy put out by Buena Vista Pictures. And it stars Gerard Depardieu and Andy McDowell. And the title is Green Card. This next movie is an MGM with Anthony Hopkins and Derek Jacobi, titled The 10th Man. This next movie is a 1980 Warner Brothers production. It's a classic, starring Julie Andrews, James Garner, Robert Preston in Victoria. This next movie is put out by Orion Pictures. It's a Woody Allen movie with Woody Allen, Michael Caine, Mia Farrow, Carrie Fisher, and Barbara Hershey, Maureen O'Sullivan, Diane Wiest, Max von Sydow, and the title is Hannah and Her Sisters. This next movie, MGM Studios, 1991, John Candy, Muriel Hemingway in Delirious. This next movie, put up by Miramax. It's quite a popular movie. It won Best Picture of the Year. It stars Robin Williams, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Minnie Driver in Good Will Hunting. This next movie, put out in 1961 by Columbia Pictures, with James Darren, Michael Callan, and Deborah Wally in Gidget Goes Hawaiian. This next movie is very popular, 1961 from Paramount Studios, with Audrey Hepburn, George Peppard in Breakfast at Tiffany's. This next movie, put out by Universal Pictures, 1991. Anthony Hopkins, Brad Pitt in Meet Joe Black. This next movie, 1978, by Lightning Video, stars Elizabeth Taylor and Joseph Bottoms in Return Engagement. Orion Pictures, a Woody Allen movie, 1991, Mia Farrow and William Hurt in Alice. Granada Video, 1986, 1983 actually, with Maggie Smith, called Mrs. Silly. Columbia Pictures, 1990s, I believe. Matthew Modine, Lara Flynn Boyle, Marisa Tomei, Laurie Singer, and Fred Ward in Equinox. New Line Home Video, 1995, starring Jennifer Jason Leigh, Campbell Scott, Matthew Broderick in Mrs. Parker and the Vicious Circle, about the life of Dorothy Parker. This movie is very funny. It's put out by HBO, 1994, starring Kathleen Turner with Ricky Lake in Serial Mom. Columbia Pictures, 1963, James Darren, Jesse Royce Landis, Cesar Danova, with Cindy Carroll in Gidget Goes to Rome. Columbia Pictures, 1985. Good Neighbor Sam with Jack Lemmon and Romy Schneider. Avid Home Entertainment, 1994. John Candy, Richard Lewis in Wagons East. Windstar Films, comedy. With Eric Mabius from Ugly Betty. He stars in this movie entitled Wiry Spindle. Okay, another classic. 20th Century Fox, 1956. Marilyn Monroe and Don Murray with Betty Field, Eileen Heckart, and Arthur O'Connell in Bus Stop. Janus Films in a Merchant Ivory edition with Lee Remick and this is 2000 and the title is The Europeans. Twentieth Century Fox, 1998. Jennifer Aniston, Paul Rudd in The Object of My Affection. New Line Home Video, 2000, starring Alec Baldwin, Charles Durning, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Sarah Jessica Parker, William H. Macy, and Julia Stiles in State and Maine. This next is Artisan movie, 1999, with Alan Rickman, Polly Walker, Norman Reedus in Dark Harbor. Columbia Pictures, 1996. Barbra Streisand, Jeff Bridges in a movie, and Lauren Bacall in the titled The Mirror Has Two Faces. MGM, 1960. Elizabeth Taylor, Lawrence Harvey, Eddie Fisher in Butterfield 8. Good Times Video, 1972, Universal City Studios, Robert Young, All My Darling Daughters. CBS television special, 1964, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Remembered, a profile of her life. Columbia Pictures, and this stars Eric Stoltz, Mary Louise Parker, Jill Clayburgh, Tony Curtis, Timothy Dalton, Kathleen Turner, Whoopi Goldberg in Naked in New York. And the last video for this part 2 is 20th Century Fox, and it's very popular, very funny. 1997, with Tom Wilkinson, Robert Carlyle, Mark Addy in The Full Monty. Well, that does it for part 2 of this VHS collection. I hope it relaxed you and you have no problem going to sleep. Okay, I have more videos to show, so there will be a part 3. Thank you, and good night.